Now, Ted, your first book, The Power of Index Funds, subtitle is Canada's Best Kept Investment Secret,
Yeah.
came out in 1999. Now, that is really early on in the indexing revolution, certainly in Canada. Um, so, at that time, what were the real innovative ideas that you wanted to communicate in that book?
Indexing was ahead of its time at that point in Canada, but absolutely not in the US. I was simply importing into Canada the success of Vanguard and what they were doing in the US. But in that first book, I wanted to communicate more than just the benefits of indexing. I really was fascinated with how unintuitive investing was and how chasing after the best performing funds was a loser's game, to use the analogy that Charlie Ellis, and I know you've had him as a guest, made years ago. He had this amazing analogy that amateur tennis is a loser's game because you win by making fewer mistakes. Whoever makes the most mistakes in amateur tennis is the loser. And therefore, the best strategy, he pointed out, in an amateur tennis game is to play defensively and let the other person make all the mistakes. And his view was in investing, you got to play defensively and avoid your mistakes that are so common. And indexing was one way that he felt you could do that. I love the analogy because it applies to so many aspects of our life where we make unforced errors. And I really was passionate about communicating to investors more than just the index story. I wanted them to understand how vulnerable they were, how vulnerable their minds were in thinking about investing, and the kind of errors that they were prone to make. So for me, indexing was kind of a gateway to behavioral economics and the whole field of how irrational we can be when it comes to financial decision making. You know, whether that's saving or spending or budgeting, gifting, donating, it all reveals, money reveals the quirkiness in human beings.